DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Let's talk about listening. This is a topic. Specifically, I'm talking about when people say you're not listening. You ever have people arguing with each other and then somebody says, well, you're not listening to me? You ever have anybody tell you that? And if you ever been in a verbal altercation, you probably had somebody say that to you, right? You're not listening. They're trying to make their point. You're making your point. Y'all not seeing eye to eye, and then they're like, well, you're not listening to me. Here's the thing. I'm going to advise everyone who's listening to this, even though you can't stop other people from doing it, I'm going to advise everybody who's listening to this to never, ever again in your life accuse somebody of not listening to you. Because if you are communicating with a person, assuming that y'all speak the same language, and you feel like they're not listening, then the responsibility is on you to get them to listen. So if you're making your point and they're not taking it in, or it seems like they're not absorbing it, then that means you're making a mistake. It's not them, it's you. That somehow, some way, you are not making your point in such a way that they are open to hearing it, or they're just not getting it. That is your responsibility. It is not their responsibility to understand you. It's your responsibility to communicate with others in such a way that they pick up what you're saying. Now, usually the common responses that I get when I say something like this, and I know the common responses are, well, Dre, sometimes people are just jerks, or they're just assholes, or people are just trying to be stubborn, or people are just trying to be difficult, and they're just trying to not listen. They're just trying to be, they're just trying to cause a conflict, and that's why they're not listening to me. They're not taking in what I'm saying. Hey, maybe that's true. So let me ask you this question. If that is the case, that a person is just trying to be difficult or stubborn, or they're just trying on purpose to not listen to you, let me ask you a question. Is that the goal? Is your goal to be able to say, well, I said everything perfectly, exactly as it needed to be said, but that person just didn't want to listen to me, so that's why we weren't able to get the deal done. That's why I couldn't get my point across. That's why me and this individual had a disagreement, because they were just trying to be difficult. That's why I couldn't get anything done. Can you go to your boss and say that? If you're in sales, can you go to your boss and say, hey boss, I didn't make any sales today, but nobody was listening to me because they were all trying to be difficult, and they were all trying to be stubborn, and nobody was trying to hear anything I had to say about this product that I'm selling. Or you could be right. Maybe you're right, but you'll also be fired. Is that what you want? You see, I want you to look at things from the perspective of taking full ownership of your situation. When you're communicating with another person, it is not their job to hear you. It is your job to communicate with them. So even though you might be correct and that they're a difficult person, they're trying to be stubborn, they're trying to not hear you, the point of communication is to get a point across. The point of communication is not to prove yourself right by proving, quote unquote, that they don't want to listen, by proving that they're stubborn, by proving that they're trying to be difficult. Let's say that you prove that that person is difficult. What did you accomplish? What was the point of you in communicating with them then? What was the point of you having all that communication with another person if the only outcome was you proving yourself right that they don't want to listen? You just wasted all your time, your most valuable resource, and your energy, and your attention, and your focus, and you lost out on money because the opportunity cost of what you could have been doing, something actually productive, by talking to a person who didn't want to listen. So you failed. Again, no matter what way you slice this, communication is on you. So don't ever put yourself in a position of saying, well, another person's just not listening, so I'm right. Everything I said was correct, but they just don't want to listen, so that's why I wasn't able to get my point across. Well, you failed because you just gave your time to something and got nothing out of it. So that's a mistake on your part. That's not on them, that's on you. The whole point of this here, now some of y'all might see this as extreme or a radical approach to it, and maybe it is, and you can call it that if you want to, but here's the bottom line, folks. We're in a results-based business. We are not in a prove yourself right based business. We're not in a that person's wrong and I'm correct based business. We're in a results based business. And most of the results that we create in life usually involve us engaging with another human being. So if you're engaging with another person and they're not getting it, you just wasted all your resources trying to do it and you were unable to do it. That means you need to step your communication game up. You need to step your game up. They don't need to step theirs up because you can't control what another person does. Another person doesn't want to work on their game or get better or get smarter or be more helpful or more cooperative. You can't make them become that. All you can control is you. So my question is not what did they do to mess up the situation. My question is, what did you do to make the situation better? And if you can't answer that, then it's 100% on you that situation didn't work out. That's what I mean by taking ownership. Now, 2 things I want you to do at this point. First of all, text me so you can get my daily motivation text every day, free of charge, straight to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. I send it to you every day for free. And number 2, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Join my Bulletproof Mastermind. That's where you not only are going to get on a live call with me every week where I do live trainings and we go deep into the game, not only on interpersonal skills like what I just told you about, on ownership like what I just talked about, but also on business principles that you need to understand so you can take your game where it needs to go, personal development principles, mindset principles, all the stuff you hear me talk about on video. You want to hear me go deep on this and not only talk about it, but also answer your questions and answer your specific challenges on these areas. Join me at workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's my mastermind. It's the only place to work with me directly. So I got a group mastermind, also a one-on-one. Both of those options are at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Also, you get access to all of my courses. You get my Bulletproof Bulletin, which is my monthly mailing that I send out every single month for free to everyone who's a part of my masterminds. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.